ओके, where do we start? बेंगलुरु को इंडिया का स्टार्टअप कैपिटल बोलते हैं, लेकिन इस शहर की असली आइडेंटिटी कैफेज, कॉर्पोरेट या ट्रैफिक नहीं है, उसका फूड कल्चर है। सुबह की फिल्टर कॉफी, क्रिस्पी डोसा और वीकेंड ब्रेकफास्ट रिचुअल्स। और अगर बेंगलुरु की फूड कल्चर का कोई हार्ट बीट है तो वो है मवली टिफिन रूम्स यानी कि MTR। 1924 में शुरू हुआ एक छोटा सा कॉफी हाउस आज बैंगलोर की आइडेंटिटी बन चुका है। यहाँ लोग सिर्फ खाने नहीं आते, मेमोरीज बनाने आते। ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स अपने ग्रैंड किड्स को वही डोसा खिलाते हैं जो खुद बचपन में खाया करते थे। यही वर्ल्ड वॉर के टाइम इन्वेंट हुई थी द लेजेंडरी रवा इडली। यहाँ की फिल्टर कॉफी और मसाला डोसा को बैंगलोर ऑलमोस्ट एक इमोशन की तरह ट्रीट करता है। और सबसे क्रेजी पार्ट, 100 साल बाद भी इनकी रेसिपी सेम है। सेम टेस्ट, सेम प्रोसेस, सेम फीलिंग। दिस इज नॉट जस्ट अ स्टोरी ऑफ अ रेस्टोरेंट, दिस is the story of Bangalore.
Hi, my name is Vikram. I'm one of the managing partners at Mavalli Tiffin Rooms. This was founded in 1924 by my grandparents, actually my grandfather and my granduncles. I feel that MTR has become part of the fabric of Bangalore. I think it's become an institution in itself. It's become bigger than all of us put together. You know, it's something there. So I joined in 2001. My father passed away in 99. In the beginning, it was very overwhelming. It was, we didn't know, we were never introduced into the business by my father. None of us. We have 4 siblings. So for us, it was very overwhelming in the beginning. We didn't know what was happening. But then it became, as the years went by, it became easier.
What is your earliest memory of MTR?
Oh, that goes back to when I was 2 or 3 or something like that. It's just, sitting around here. A lot of our employees have been around for, not a lot now, but say 10 years back, we had employees who were with us for more than 50 years. And some of them have carried me when I was like a baby. A lot of memories. One constant thing that I used to do is we serve fruit salad with ice cream here. That's a specialty that we do. And there is, it is topped with a cherry, right? A lot of my memories are associated with that. So that is just down here where we are sitting, is just down there where the ice cream counter is. And so I used to sit on top of the counter. There's this one jar filled with those cherries. I used to sit on the counter and just take the jar and keep popping berries. So that's a constant memory. I used to do that all the time. Brilliant. Thanks. My grandparents, there were 4 brothers. They were all basically, cooks and things like that. So 2 of the brothers actually came to Bangalore looking for, there was not much money there. It was just agriculture, in the village. So they were looking for a better livelihood. So they came to Bangalore and they were working as cooks in houses in well-to-do. And one of them happened to be a high court judge. And he suggested to one of my granduncles, why don't you go on your own? Start something on your own. You have the wherewithal with you. You have the hands. You're a good cook. So that's where it started. I think 1924. It didn't start as MTR. It started as Brahmin's Coffee House. That was very close by from where we are right now. And in 1951, we moved here. 51, 52, something. Where you're sitting is actually, it was set up as a restaurant. This, where I'm sitting right now, is actually part of the original structure. And the extensions are all that side. The next building is all the extension. We've been doing the same thing for the last 100 years. What you got then is what you get now. You have to adjust it with the quality of ingredients and all of that. But leave aside that, it's the same ingredients, same proportions, same standardized recipes for everything. 15, 16 years back, this was the only restaurant that we had. 2013, we actually started our first franchise abroad in Singapore. So that was the time where we realized that, this taking chefs from here to Singapore and then them doing everything from scratch is not going to work out, because the whole process of, for example, if you're making sambar, idli sambar, for that sambar, there is a particular masala that has to be, prepared, which involves a lot of frying and roasting and all of that. So that is a time consuming process. That takes a good 45 minutes to do that. and then you have to grind that, and then the whole process will take you about 2 hours. So then we thought this is not going to work, I mean, this will work here in one single standalone restaurant. You can probably pull it off, but not when you're going abroad. And the minute you step outside of India, you have the whole raw material, the kind of raw material that you get is completely different. So we had to match that with our flavors and everything. So that is where standardization actually came in. We started measuring, for 1 liter of sambar, what do you need, that kind of thing. So that measurement started then. So that we just kind of, rolled it out to all the restaurants we have in Bangalore now. So that's how standardization came. There are definitely, a lot more many dishes that we are serving now compared to then. Obviously, the customers change because, you see a lot more, youngsters, you see multiple generations coming. I've seen, grandparents coming with their kids and their kids, and sometimes, fourth generation coming all along together. What hasn't changed is, I would say, the way we run our business remains the same. We still look forward to the next day the same way we look forward to today.
And so, what do you think people like the most over here?
I think you should ask them. I think everybody has their own,
I've been coming here since the past 15 years. It's one of the best places for dosa, according to me. And it's like a Sunday ritual for Bangaloreans. On the way to the staircase, there's a lot of stuff that they've kept, and it shows a lot about Bangalore and how it was earlier. So it's very nostalgic.
Except Monday, there's not one day that we miss MTR just because of this man. He's crazy about the coffee here. Mondays, his energies are low. And trust me, you should see him on Monday. He's like, I said, what happened? MTR is closed, man.
Monday holiday. It's black day. More than 40 years. Daily we are having breakfast here only.
Whenever I get time, I sometimes bunk college and come here with my friends.
So today also we have missed our first class and come here to eat dosa.
Childhood days I'm coming here, some 30 years back.
It's gonna be my first time today. I'm so excited.
Masala dosa and Rava Idli.
Has anything changed 30 years back?
I think nothing. What I was eating, now my children also are eating here. I used to come to Lal Bagh. So my childhood is in the MTR.
हमारा फेवरेट डिश रवा इडली काराबात मसाला डोसा है 40 years से इधर आले के कॉफी इंडिया को नंबर 1 है
I born here in nearby this area itself. But walkable distance to MTR. My age is 40 now. I have seen this from 30 years.
MTR का विराट कोहली है MTR का विराट कोहली है 40 साल से ये दम भर रहा है
45 ವರ್ಷ 45 years.
Favorite coffee, masala dosa, idli, karabat,
Masala dosa. हम 20 साल से आ रहा है, 20 years.
और इधर से जैसा कॉफी दुनिया में किधर भी नहीं मिलता है केसरी बात हम दोनों इसका फैन है
At least 5 days in a week we visit MTR.
You know each of the because of MTR.
MTR lunch is amazing.
I'm born and brought up in Bangalore, so I am coming to MTR for last 60 to maybe 60 years also. Those days I used to like vegetable bath, that is the khara bath I think.
Thyroid and special badam, jamun.
सुबह नाश्ते को मॉर्निंग इधर आके नाश्ता कर लेके लाल बाग पे जाके इधर ही आया था और 7 o'clock इवनिंग इधर आता हूँ.
So during World War II, there was rationing of rice, and at the same time there was a famine in India, because of which it was like a double whammy. I mean, one was rationing was happening for World War II, and then because of the famine it was more so. During that time is when my grand uncle started experimenting with suji to make rava idlis. I mean, to make idlis, your regular rice idlis. So that turned into Rava Idli. That's how Rava Idli came into being. It was because of that particular thing. Well, we open at 6:30. That's for breakfast. Breakfast typically consists of your dosas and your idlis and vadas and karabat and stuff like that. Then we shut down for lunch at around 11 o'clock. We open for lunch at around 12:30. 12:30 is the lunch is basically a thali. It's a South Indian thali where you get about 14-15 different items. Your rice, sambar, rasam. Again, dosa is also included in the meals. And then we shut down at 3:30. Lunch closes at 3:30 basically. And 3:30 we start our evening menu, which again it's very similar to what is available in the morning. Except there are certain items that are added on, like puri bhaji and stuff like that. So that you get in the evening. This is actually the coffee room. This used to, it's mainly for coffee. Basically, people come and sit here. This is the downstairs sitting room. You come on a weekend, it get typically very, very crowded. It's today is a weekday, so weekdays slightly all right. There used to be a lot of these working committee meetings which used to happen in Lal Bagh in the 50s, you know, late 40s, early 50s. So these are all the pictures from that.
1977 joined MTR.
Masala dosa, sir. 20 years. When emergency happened, there was the government basically told, in our case, they told restaurant owners, you can't charge more than a certain amount for a plate of idli. Regardless of how much your cost of production was, you cannot sell it for more than that. So we underwent losses. So at that time, it was my uncle and my father who were running the place. So there was a time where every day they would go through the days, you know, sales and everything. And at the end of the day, they used to write down the losses that they had every day. And they used to put it outside. They used to write it on a board and keep it outside so that people can see how much losses were incurred the previous day. So they managed to keep it open for about, I think, 2.5, 3 months. They ran it for 3 months and then they had to shut shop because, you know, they were paying out of their pockets to run the place running. But then we had all these workers who were dependent on, you know, this was their livelihood. So to keep them occupied, you know, my uncle and my dad decided, let's do this. Let's try this, you know, mixes and masalas. Let's make it. And so they set up a department store and started selling out, you know, Rava Idli mix and Rasam powder, Karabat mix. So that's why basically MTR food started. Oh, it's very difficult to say. I mean, it's across the spectrum. I wouldn't say we are listed on Lonely Planet. So, you know, anybody coming from abroad is, you know, there's like this must do kind of a thing. They have to come to, you know, MTR. And so we have a whole, you can't put it in words, but we're very specific about how we appoint managers. Managers need to have they need to have a cultural connect with MTR. They need to know where it came from, what it means. So especially here, I think you met the manager Raghavendra in the morning. So he's been with us for a good, I think, 35 plus years. He's been there when my dad was there, so he knows what it means to actually run this place.
My name is Raghavendra Hulla. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ನಡ ಸೂಪರ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ ರಾಜ್ಕುಮಾರ್ ಈಗ ಬಂದು ಒಂದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಗೋಲ್ಡನ್ ಇದು ಚಿನ್ನದ ಲೋಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಫಿ ಗೋಲ್ಡನ್ ಕಪ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಆವಾಗ ಒಂದು ಲೈಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಮೆಮೊರಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. MTRಲ್ಲಿ ನನ್ನ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜರು ಇದು ಒಂಥರ ನಮಗೆ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗೆ. ಇದು ನಮಗೆ ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ನಮಗೆ ಅನಿಸಲ್ಲ. ಇದೊಂದು ಲೈಕ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ. ಇಲ್ಲೊಂಥರ ಏನೋ ಖುಷಿ, ಏನೋ ಒಂಥರ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್, ಖುಷಿ, ಹ್ಯಾಪಿ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ ಇದು ಬರುತ್ತೆ.
Masala dosa, sir. Masala dosa, nobody can beat it. I went so many hotels, not up to the mark, sir. Compared to MTR, not up to the mark. Frankly, I'm telling you.
So this is from my, I don't know, I mean, this has been a tradition from where I come from South Canada, where a kitchen is considered a sacred place. So you never wear footwear in the kitchen. I mean, I think that's the case in most Brahmin households, or that's just been kind of, you know, it's just added here. So it's always been the case. Even when I mean, I'm wearing footwear here, but if I'm entering the kitchen, I leave the footwear outside and I enter the kitchen. There was this one time where Pamela Chopra, yes, Chopra's wife, she had come in the evening. Nobody knew who she was. I happened to be there downstairs and even I didn't know who she was. So she came and asked for just rasam, you know. She just wanted rasam to be packed. And the guy who was sitting at the cash said, no, we don't do that. We can't parcel just rasam. Then I spoke to her and I said, you know, not to worry, you know, how much rasam do you want? And I packed it and whatever. Then she took it. While she was leaving, she gave me a card and I looked at the card and it said, oh, bloody hell. I said, okay, you know, sorry about all of this. And then 2 days later, Chopra Saab sent me whatever his latest movie, whatever was released then, with a thank you card and all of that. So people have come, I think, you know, all the scaling has happened in the last 20 years, I would say. we saw people waiting for 2 hours, 2.5 hours for a dosa or a meal. At that point, my sister and me started thinking, people are coming from all across. Why don't we kind of go closer to them?
On an average, how much business does MTR make in a month?
We're not in this for the money, yeah. I mean, we do it for passion. We do it to what the customers deserve. We give. That's what it is. It's not for the money. I think in a restaurant business, at least as far as I'm concerned, it's the most thankless job on earth. What you aim for is a smile from the customer. He has a bite of something and he smiles. That is your satisfaction. So that smile comes only after probably 20 to 50 frowns, and then you see a smile. Man management is one of the toughest jobs in the world, and that is the most crucial part in this business. I think it's the case in most businesses, but more so here.
What is MTR?
Somebody who's young, I would say we are an authentic South Indian vegetarian restaurant. We've been around for more than 100 years now. The fact that we have been around for more than 100 years shows how good we are.
And the last question, what is MTR for you?
Home, period. The minute I walk into, especially this place, to Lal Bagh Road, it's home. It's like coming back home, there's that sense of calm that comes in. I mean, like I told you earlier, my earliest memories, we were a Hindu undivided family earlier. I mean, now we're all kind of separate and everything. But when my sister and me were born, it was my uncles, my aunts, everybody lived together. So the entire childhood was surrounded by, MTR and my cousins, and it's become like one. It's like a fabric that I get wrapped around, When every time I come in here, it's like, this is just home. That's all.
Now let's go have some idlis.
Come.